everybody. Welcome back to the 5 O'Clock Sweats podcast, the podcast where we like to talk about the things we like to do when we're off the clock, not working. Tonight, I'm Ryan, joined by my handsomest buddy.
That must be me. Using context clues, it must be me. I'm Derick. How's everyone doing?
Well, I'm doing great. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm going to say they're doing pretty good.
Good.
Come see, come ça. Right?
So.
Come see, come ça. That just popped into my head after years.
Is it like
I don't know why. I don't know why. Anyway. Tonight, Derick and I, we are going to talk about an anime.
Way.
Shocker. Shocker. But not just any anime.
Which one?
We're going to be talking
about. I need to prepare.
Okay. So I'll tell you which one we're going to do, and then you'll rip it off. You'll rip off whatever you know. We're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Daima.
Oh, thank God that's the one I prepped for.
Thank God you've watched this show. Thank God. We're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Daima, which just wrapped up its final episode last Friday. This was a 20-episode series. It's kind of crazy to think that it's over. It was the quickest 20 weeks ever. Actually, 21 weeks. They took 1 week off.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I can't believe it's over. What a ride. It was a lot of fun.
It was.
It was just cool to just have Dragon Ball to look forward to every week. I didn't even watch Super when that was airing live. I watched that all after it had released. So this was really my first time watching live Dragon Ball week to week.
And as far as I can remember, this is probably the first time I've also watched it live week to week. Because at least with Z and the Cell saga, that was on Toonami, so I wouldn't call it live.
Yeah,
it has to have been a rerun.
It's all reruns. So this was cool. This was cool to just like every Friday, 1 o'clock, we have Daima to look forward to. And now that it's over, I'm kind of sad. Because now I'm just stuck with Soul Leveling, which isn't a bad thing. It's a great show, but it just is. I'm gonna miss my Daima fix.
It scratches a different itch.
Yeah, especially after the last month of episodes that we've gotten. I mean, we've gotten some fucking bangers.
Yes,
the last couple weeks, and
especially with the passing of Akira Toriyama, and he kind of gave, or at least I heard from you, he gave Daima his blessing, right? He wrote the thing. He knows where it was going.
Yeah, he had a heavy hand in this series, more so than most.
Yeah, definitely.
And
how far in did he get? Did he
I'm
write
pretty
the whole
sure.
thing?
I'm pretty sure he wrote the whole thing. I'm pretty sure it was a done deal. I don't think they really had to take any liberties. Although I don't know with 100% confidence for sure, but from everything that I've read, he basically had full involvement and had a vision and was able to execute the vision. And yeah, it wasn't like a situation where he only wrote half the story and then they had to make up the other half. I'm pretty sure he had the whole thing, telegraphed out for everybody. And we got his true vision.
After watching it, I definitely think that he had it all down.
Oh, his fingerprints are all over it.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is, especially with the passing of Akira Toriyama, with these 20 episodes of Dragon Ball, no matter what comes in the future, we knew that these 20 episodes were the last gift from him. There's nothing else in the pipeline. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I think that made it feel a little bit more tugged at the heartstrings a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at the end of episode 20.
Yeah, I know. And then and even the ending, the EP they had, each episode was the little visual of the bird flying. I believe that's supposed to be a little send off or a nod to Toriyama. So just seeing that every week also was just a little reminder. So yeah, it was special, and yeah, you could tell that this was a Toriyama work. It had a little bit of everything. especially with how, as you said, with how episode 20, the final episode, ended. Yeah, you can definitely tell that Toriyama had a heavy hand in in how this was playing out. So I guess we'll just get into it. Well, we're going to talk about the last episode, episode 20, really quick, and then we'll go to a broader conversation about the series in general. But episode 20, man, I mean, we were riding the coattails of one of the best Dragon Ball episodes I've ever seen, in my opinion, episode 19, which left us with the biggest, well, not, I wouldn't say it's really a cliffhanger, but it's just like one of the most hype moments for me, really, in any show I've ever watched, because I mean, I love Dragon Ball, and like seeing this was like, I felt like a kid again. It was so cool. I was literally jumping and yelling in the house I was watching it when I was watching it live, and it was like, it was just a feeling I hadn't experienced in a while, and it was really cool. So riding that high, going into episode 20, and we knew like, okay, we're gonna get some fucking awesome Super Saiyan 4 Goku action. Spoiler alert: Goku goes Super Saiyan 4 in Dragon Ball Daima.
We as much as we try to throw the spoiler alert out there right after the intro, this always happens to us.
I know.
We're like, Goku goes Super Saiyan 4. Oh shit! Spoiler alert for all of Daima, I guess.
Yeah.
We do this every time.
The whole lead up.
Literally every time.
Well,
I don't think we've nailed it once.
Listen, the show's over, and the episode will be some sort of title like Dragon Ball Daima conversation or something like that. So if you haven't seen Dragon Ball Daima, why even watching this? I mean,
well, like friend of the podcast Brady, maybe he wants a little taster.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible.
Ooh, but we didn't head him off with the spoiler warning.
No,
no.
I could put spoiler warning in the description. Who knows? Don't say I didn't warn you. In the description. I'm testing. You got to read the description. Anyway, so episode 20. Did it stick the landing? I mean,
mostly.
Yeah, I think mostly. We had an incredible fight visually, and the choreography of the fighting in this series as a whole has been very good. So we had an incredible like first 10 minutes of this episode with just Goku Super Saiyan 4 fighting big boy King Goma with the evil third eye, and we had some stunning visuals. The animator for a large part of this fight has done a lot of the best parts of Dragon Ball in recent years. We did a lot of the Gogeta Broly fight in the DBS Super Broly movie. Did a lot of the Jiren Ultra Instinct Goku fighting in Super, and then just some other things, some other thrilling and like dynamic fight scenes in recent years for Dragon Ball. He's had a heavy hand in, so we knew we were going to get something truly special, and we did. And yeah, I mean, I have no complaints really about this first 10-15 minutes. I mean, the first half of this episode, just straight up action, basically. I mean, Goku is going all out against Goma. The episode is called Zenkai
Maximum,
which translates to maximum. So Goku was going all out. And yeah, I mean, this was just so hype, man.
So I did rewatch the last 3 episodes. I don't remember if I said this in episode or before episode, but I watched the last 3 episodes, 18, 19, 20, right before we got on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. So maximum implies like this is the strongest Goku like ever was or ever will be. And that last part is the part that kind of throws me a little bit. Or okay, maybe maximum for now.
Yeah, I think
given that this was an insert season, I don't know. It just the verbiage just makes me feel weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that in the context of this show, when it takes place at this moment in the Dragon Ball universe, how, canon or not, whatever, Goku, this is the strongest Goku has ever been, and he's going all out. I mean, you can tell during the fight, he's powering up a couple times, I actually thought he was going to transform again. I'm like, what are you going to do? Like, go Kaioken in Super Saiyan 4? Or are we going to get or I don't know. What are you going to do? Are you going to go Great Ape on us? Like, what's happening?
I mean, my first time watching it, you were watching it with me, and I thought something was going to happen because he was already Super Saiyan 4, keeps powering up, keeps beating up on old KG, and then bang, he's in his squatted stance, and you see the electricity around him. I'm like, is he doing more?
Yeah, it was crazy. He was just tapping into that power, and just like it seemed pretty much limitless. And Goma's basically like a punching bag. Like he doesn't go down. He just absorbs the punishment and then is able to heal with that stupid third eye. Well, I don't think it's stupid with that damn third eye.
I didn't think it was stupid until the very end of the episode. And I still don't think it's stupid, but that's kind of like
yeah. But anyway, this fight leads to what might be the greatest spectacle of a Kamehameha wave we've ever seen. And listen, I mean, there have been some great Kamehamehas over the years. I don't know if anyone's been more visually stunning than this one. I mean, this thing was fucking legendary. Like, Goku is powering up. Yeah, you got the ambulance behind me or whatever. They found me. I don't
all right.
Yeah, Goku is powering up, and we're like, oh, what's he gonna do? He does this pose, which, if you recognize that pose, it kind of is a reference to the opening of the original Dragon Ball opening, and after the podcast I can show you. But if you've seen like the OG Dragon Ball Z opening where Goku like takes his fist like this, and then he like powers up, and then there's like a big ball of energy around him, like it was kind of an homage to that. And at this point, it could be anything. At this point, we're like, what the fuck's he gonna do? And then it's like a close-up on his hands doing like this little wave thing, and then all of a sudden it comes back, and then he does the classic pose for the Kamehameha, starts powering up, and
it's happening.
Yeah, this was fucking awesome, man.
Dude,
I mean,
it was beautiful. So Super Saiyan 4 Goku in his Kamehameha stance, Goma, flying up above, charging his own beam from the Tertian Oculus. Bang, Goku's Kamehameha leaves his hands. A solid blue beam of energy races towards Goma, flecked with red. It just looks so fucking powerful. And then they meet in the middle in that bright blue of Goku's Kamehameha against all the dark energy coming out of the Tertian Oculus from Goma.
Yeah.
I think I said it when we were watching it together that first time for me. I was like, this is just, that contrast is so good.
Yeah, I mean, the art in this show is fucking S tier, and this particular, there's like several shots of this Kamehameha that could be like a wallpaper. Like, yeah, it's so good. So eventually Goku powers up and overpowers Goma. I thought he was going to say 10 times Kamehameha, which is a reference to Dragon Ball GT, because he did that in GT. But I think without saying it, I think you can say that he did like it 10 times Kamehameha. I mean, he basically did. This Kamehameha goes through Goma's like energy ball, and then goes through Goma.
Yep.
Goes through Goma, shades of like Demon King Piccolo in End of Dragon Ball, and this thing doesn't stop through Goma. This thing goes through.
Yeah, this thing pierces the ceiling of the first demon world, tunnels through the ground of the second demon world, through the ocean, through all the second demon world, again, through another layer, out of the third demon world, and like out into space, basically.
Yep. And we saw Tamagami 2, we saw Tamagami 3, and this was just so fucking cool. Like, what a cool way to connect, like, the other demon worlds that we visited throughout the show, like with this final spectacle of an attack. Like, so fucking cool, really creative, really badass. And I don't know, every time I see Tamagami 3 I get a little emotional, because I love that guy, and I'm just sad like he wasn't a bigger part in the story moving forward. But it was cool. We got a couple of flashes to him at the end of in these last few episodes.
Yeah, I like all the Tamagamis. I didn't know whether I would when the show started, but I mean, at the end, oh yeah.
Yeah, obviously Tamagami 2's kind of got the short end of the stick. He's just kind of like a traditional bad guy, but like 3, and he's not even a bad guy. He just like doesn't say a lot, kind of like the tough bad guy. I said bad guy again. Tough fighter. Tamagami 3 actually had a lot of personality and was awesome. And Tamagami 1, you can tell his personality too, and they kind of fleshed him out a bit because we spent the last few episodes with him. But yeah, this thing goes through everything. And then it like forms. This thing goes through everything. It goes through everything. And
it's
then
crazy.
Yeah, and then like the water comes pouring through the hole, which was, I guess, a metaphor for how I felt after watching.
Wait, break it down for me. It's real quick.
I'm not gonna.
All right, yeah,
break it down. But
understandable. Have a nice
if you've
day.
seen the episode, you can relate. And then just the shot of Goku, there's a close-up of Goku's eyes, and you can see like the blue residue of the Kamehameha energy still on his fingertips, and that was so fucking
and it's
cool.
Like neon blue, like bioluminescent
like
blue.
Sparkling, yeah.
And then the other thing I called out, which was the camera work afterwards, which was showing that hole in the ceiling of the first demon world.
Yeah.
And then the water gushing in from the second.
Yep.
And then the camera backs up through the hole in Goma's body.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the cinematography and camera work in this episode were great. And again, another just like shot that could be like a wallpaper, just art.
Goma's hole. I'll look it up.
Goma's hole. Yeah.
Goma.
You might want to open up an incognito window for that one.
It is all Dragon Ball. Nice.
But then the shot, like the wide shot of the Kamehameha, like going through the demon, like the first demon world, and like the shot and everything, like the blue, like the Kamehameha is highlighted in the blue, and then everything else is kind of like grayed out a little bit to kind of just accentuate that Kamehameha energy. What a beautiful shot. I need to find that image and just like, I'm making it my background after this episode's over. I have to. So at this point, Goma's not going to be defeated off of this, but like this guy just took a Kamehameha through the stomach. Like his intestines are not there. And but this tertian oculus, of course, is just going to heal him because this thing's a cheat code, and Piccolo is waiting in the wings to land his 3 hits to the back of Goma's head, because that's how you knock the eye out of his head, apparently.
Dude, the way Goma healed after taking that Kamehameha to the center of mass, so good. I missed it the first time, but I got it today when I watched it. And it's the stage that he created for them to fight on has like those curved prongs that come up. And when he needs to heal, they all like have a ring of electricity around them, and he just heals the fuck up. He doesn't use it for anything else,
and he
doesn't use it as a weapon.
No, he's just healing himself, and
so cool.
And the shot of like everyone's face like in the center of the hole as it closes, and they're like, and everyone is just like, that's just the imagery of like, we're fucked. Like we cannot kill this thing. And then Piccolo has an opportunity to knock the eye out. His one time to shine in the show. My dude gets 2 out of the 3 hits in, and then gets fucked, and then catches a stray. Like I don't even know if Goma was intentionally trying to hit him, because I rewatched it a few times.
Hit him with one of those.
Yeah, I thought like Goma actually like tried to like notice he was there and tried to hit him, but it looks like actually on replay that like Goma is just like freaking out.
Yeah, just tired.
And his eyes are closed, and he's just like moving his hands, and Piccolo just randomly catches a hand. So, of course, that doesn't work.
Poor Piccolo.
And then at this point, we're like, okay, well, that didn't work. We're going to have to fuse, I guess, with the fusion bugs that were lost a few episodes prior. They're on the ground somewhere in this arena. Goma powers up, and then, like, this is, and also just, like, a crazy visual for the power-up. Like, the ring is, like, powering him up, and he just looks like a fucking god.
Dude, it's nuts.
And, like, the guy, like, he's by far the strongest fighter in this arena at that moment. And then Majin Ku, arguably maybe the best character in the show, comes up behind him. He's just floating behind him.
Which, by the way, he got kicked up there by Goma.
Yeah. This is all Goma's doing.
Yeah,
Goma was smelling himself. He was like, I got this one. Like, these guys can't stop me. This Tertianoculus, I'm with this thing. I'm basically immortal. Majin Ku is like floating up behind him. He's got the big ass magic spell book, and he whacks him in the head once, twice, 3 times, and then the ball just boop, pops out.
Yeah, he avoided Piccolo's fatal mistake of raising a flag before your final hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously, don't talk right before your third hit. What is that? Ku did it right. He's like, yeah, bing bang boom, done.
And the thing pops out, and then it rolls up to Glorio, and Glorio is like this really dramatic, like, oh, I'm gonna stomp on it, and then all of a sudden, just like a little splat, like, it's over, and it's over. And in this moment, I was like, okay. That was fine. I was like, this is funny. I like that. I like that it was like this whole thing, like the moment where you think, oh my god, like we're screwed. Like, what are we gonna do? This guy's so powerful, and then within like in a minute, that all just comes crashing down for Goma.
Bing,
the
bang,
third
boom,
eye is
pop,
destroyed.
Splat.
Crazy. And in true Toriyama fashion, it was just like not a big deal at all once the eye was out in the ground, and Glorio just squishes it with his foot.
I think I was telling you about it when we watched through it, but it's like that this mode has the whimsical mode, and then bang, Goma pops that Tertian Oculus in, and for the next couple episodes, it's like all Dragon Ball fight mode.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that Oculus pops out and Glorio steps on it, bang, right back into the whimsy again, which is fantastic.
Yeah, the show did. I thought the show did a good job of like balancing the tones. It was obviously more like lighthearted and whimsical throughout, but when it had to get serious and turn the stakes up, it did, and it did very effectively, especially in the last like few episodes.
Yeah, I had some concerns early on. I don't know if we're going to get to it later. I don't even know if it's worth getting to, but I think by the end of the season, I'm not as hard on those opinions anymore.
Yeah. Because, I mean, yeah, the stakes in this show overall just never felt too high until those last few episodes where, like, the stakes did feel pretty high. Although we know, like, and I don't want to get into the canon discussion now because, honestly, I don't give a shit. I really don't. But anyway, I just want to talk about this, like, actual ending. Mm-hmm. So from here on out, it's basically, I mean, it's just like the most wholesome ending. Everything's good. Nobody dies. Majin Ku becomes the Supreme Demon King, the new Supreme Demon King, since he's the one that landed the finishing blow on Goma.
Yep. And he appoints Dr. Arinsu as his Vice Supreme Demon King.
Vice Supreme Demon Queen? King? Whatever.
And then he appoints Do, Marba, Neva, and King Kaden, all as ministers. And Glorio.
And Glorio and Hypus. Is that his name?
No.
Right?
He volunteers for it, and Ku's just like,
does he?
Right,
okay. I kept watching that. I wasn't sure if he ignored him or if he heard him and then was just like, okay. Okay. I couldn't tell. But Hypus, I don't know. I thought Hypus was a funny character throughout the show, but
yeah,
that is funny.
And Goma originally got a sentence of 100 years imprisonment alongside Degasu.
Fucking Degasu.
Which, like, to us, it's like, damn, like that's it. Is 100 years really that much in the demon realm?
Probably not.
Like, given that Nahare and Arinsu are like hundreds of years apart.
Yeah, it's probably like a month in their in their perspective of time, but or their perception of time.
I do feel like that sentence was a little bit too lenient, and I mean, Piccolo even said like, well, I mean, he didn't actually do anything to Dende, like he didn't hurt him, so maybe we'll take a year off his 100-year sentence. But like, I don't know, maybe give him a harsher sentence to begin with. I don't know. That's just me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I actually don't know how old these people are, so I don't know like how much is 99 years actually. But regardless, for us, that's a long time. So, and for Goku and all of them, it's a long time. So, Yeah, so they get trapped, and it's kind of like a nice callback to the evil containment wave, I believe is what it's called, which is like an old move that Roshi used back in like OG Dragon Ball, or this was also used in one of the movies, I think.
Evil containment wave.
Yeah, or the evil containment wave. It just looked very much like it. It was a pretty cool reference. But yeah, Goma and Degasu are basically just chilling in this lighthouse. I thought of the movie The Lighthouse with like Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, like the Robert Eggers movie. They're just like chilling in this lighthouse, and they're just like having to pass the time, like, I don't know, playing cards and playing video games and whatnot.
Which, I mean, what? So Degasu also got a matching sentence for helping Goma.
Yeah, they both got the same sentence. And remember,
yeah, but his was specifically because he helped Goma, right? Not because he perpetrated any other crimes. Because he really didn't do anything.
No, he didn't do anything. He did like hold Dende captive. I think he threatened to kill Dende.
He turned off Warp Sama.
He did, but that was Goma's order.
He also got the Oculus from Hybis indirectly, but he did get it. Not illegal, by the way. And he did take Dende hostage while trying to flee.
In a plane. In like the worst thought out plan ever.
That part's pretty bad. I will say that part's bad.
Yeah. I think
other than that, he just like wasn't around.
Yeah.
And then was just in the bottle when Goma got there.
Well, Rinsu suggests to Marba that like, oh, let's have Degasu in there with him as company. So just so Goma's not in there by himself.
My little brother in there with him.
She doesn't give two shits about that guy. Anyway, so yeah, but they get trapped, and then and then Ku's the Supreme Demon King, and then our heroes leave. They're gonna head back home. They're gonna take a plane home with Pansy's gonna take them back. We got the cute shot of everyone leaving, and then Pansy's waving Vegeta's arm. That's one of my favorite shots in the whole show. It's just
that should be your wallpaper.
Yeah,
just infinite loop of
really wholesome. I thought that was really good. And then we get a really interesting post-credit scene. And when I say interesting, I mean like what actually happens is a gag at the end of the day. But I don't know if you noticed how well animated this fucking 2-minute post-credit scene is. It might be the best animated thing in the whole show. I don't know why it looks so good, but like it's so fluid. The character animation is top tier. Dragon Ball's never looked that good before. It was just really weird that they saved it for like this 2-minute post-credit scene, which is a gag post-credit scene.
It's basically very good.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious to see if there's anything behind that, but regardless, they go back to the bug shop where they got the fusion bugs and the sensu bean bugs, and they stumble upon a jar in like the back of the store. It's all dusty, like no one's touched it in decades. And what's in that jar,
maybe.
Derick?
I mean, when
centuries.
Was Abara?
Probably centuries. I'm just gonna, probably centuries. You're right.
But there are 2 tertian oculuses. Oculi.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah. So apparently you can just buy these things at this shop for a discount too, is what the shop owner says.
And apparently the one that's been in the show this whole time was also in that jar. There used to be 3 of them. Someone just up and bought it.
That's why they call it the third eye.
That's not
why they call it the third eye.
It's not untrue.
Yeah. But
that is not why they do it though.
But I don't know. I thought that was funny. At the end of the day, the big threat was just something you could buy from a convenience store, basically. Very Toriyama. Very fitting. That's how it ended. I do wonder if this will lead to anything. My gut feeling is no. Like this is just a joke. I don't think they would rehash the Tertian Oculus again for a future villain. That would kind of be a little redundant, but who knows? Maybe. But the show ends on that note.
I see. I feel like Bulma should have bought them both and just squished them right there.
I'm assuming they squished him, but I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's up to interpretation.
There's a lot of stuff that's kind of open about the ending. I know you talked about it a little bit after I watched it the first time, but there's stuff like Bulma wanted to go to the demon realm, or when she got there, Pansy was talking about Magilite.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can use that to make me look young. And then like on the plane to the Medibug shop, she's like looking at herself in her compact mirror and she's like not happy with it.
Yeah.
So she's obviously always like chasing other ways to like make herself younger.
Oh, yeah.
But like Demon Realm it's not going to win this fight, Bulma.
Well, she gets the butte bugs. So and that's kind of just her character now. She just wants to look good and young.
And we also get Neva inviting Dende and Piccolo to come live in the demon realm. He's like, do you think maybe you would live here? And they're like, no. But there's a bunch of Namekians from the former planet Namek that are now nomads. So maybe they'll come here. So even Neva gets a happy ending.
Yeah, I liked Neva. Neva was a... Yeah.
Pause.
Oh, yeah, he gets a happy ending. He keeps winking at the Tamagami's at the Tamagami one. He just became a wink. He just was winking at everybody in these last few episodes.
He's not a pervert, I swear.
Neva was interesting. I was under the belief for a lot of this show that he was going to be a bad guy, and
me too.
Obviously, he turned out not to be a bad guy. In fact, he helped give us the best gift the show had to offer, which was Super Saiyan 4 Goku. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with how he turned out, because I do like his character. And yeah, the Namekians coming back apparently, and this show did establish a couple of things in the lore which were pretty cool. Like Namekians are originally from the demon realm. That's why they have the pointy ears. And I also established that anybody with pointy ears is a descendant of the demon realm, which is pretty cool. Not sure what that means for, like, someone was mentioning, I saw someone talking about the Azarus, like the Saiyan great ape form, like they have pointy ears. Does that mean the Saiyans are originally from the demon realm? When I was thinking about ways they could explain Super Saiyan 4 back when I thought, like, okay, this is definitely a prequel to Super, I was thinking like, oh, maybe like Goku can use Super Saiyan 4, can access Super Saiyan 4 because he's in the demon world, and something with the atmosphere is triggering his like demon Saiyan genes or something like that. Something crazy like that. I thought that would
I like your other theory better about magic.
Yeah. Well, the magic theory, which was basically Super Saiyan 4 is a magical form that was triggered by Neva's magic that like altered Goku's genes and caused a mutation
and caused them to shrink a little bit in the dryer. I don't know why. Anyway, I guess we didn't mention this part about the ending, but it turns out that Super Saiyan 4 is just a power that Goku was he wasn't able to achieve it after the Buu saga. This takes place a year after the Majin Buu saga, and at that point, Goku's strongest form was Super Saiyan 3. But there is a little part at the end of the episode where him and Vegeta are talking, and Goku and Vegeta's like, "Oh, you hid that transformation from me," just like he did when they were fighting Super Saiyan 2 in the Majin Buu saga, and Goku goes Super Saiyan 3. And Goku's like, Super Saiyan 4, and they finally said Super Saiyan 4. They hadn't called it anything before then, so we got confirmation that it is Super Saiyan 4. And he's like, yeah, after we defeated Buu, I trained really hard. But he's like, but I'm not sure if I could pull it off.
If you read between the lines, he's never actually transformed into Super Saiyan 4 before. But he knew that the power was there. Like he knew like it was achievable. He just wasn't sure how to get it. But he had the power to do it. So Neva activated that form basically with his
Levi's.
magic, in his Levi's, using his magic, activated the mutation in his genes to allow him to fully become the Super Saiyan 4. Which they're not going to say outright, but that's how I read it. I think that is the case. I don't see why. Even the way he looks at himself after he first transforms when he's as a kid, like he's like, my hands are big. I got my tail. I'm fucking hairy.
All right.
I mean, he looks shocked. He looks like confused, kind of like, what is this? And then I guess he realizes, like, okay, this is the power that I knew I could obtain, but now I have it.
Yeah, and your theory on the magic was that since it is, unlocked by magic, these magical Levi's, like maybe when they go back to Earth through Warp Sama, like the magic from the demon realm doesn't work anymore, so he doesn't have access to Super Saiyan 4. Yeah. Or something like that.
Yep.
And it makes me buy into the theory so much more. Only because, like, I know you didn't want to get into, like, canon discussion, and I've not seen Super, but, like, how the hell else are you never hitting this form ever?
Yeah.
Also, this was something I commented to you about, I guess it was episode 18, Awakening. So after Neva unlocks Goku's Levi's and he transforms into Super Saiyan 4 as Kid Goku, it's a magical girl transformation. Like you get the whole like swirly stuff. You get like the glowing body part with bam. Now there's great ape hair on it, and here's my big chest. Like
he's got
it's a magical girl transformation. Magic. It's right there.
Yeah.
So yep. I believe that.
And listen, like we can kind of get into the canon stuff a little bit, I guess, but I don't really want to spend too much time talking about it because we don't have any answers. This is all speculation. We don't know. And we don't know what's going to happen with the future of Super. We don't know what's going to happen with the future of this show. I have a feeling we're going to get more Daima, whether it's a season 2 or a movie.
Oh, and then, yeah, that's the other thing that you brought up at the end of the episode. It's implied that they go straight home, but like,
yeah.
We see them on the ship, and we see them go into the Medibug shop, and that's it. So, like, theoretically, there could be more capers between here and home, but...
Yeah, we didn't see them leave. We didn't see them leave the demon world. They didn't see them go home. So
I feel like they did. I feel like they just did.
I feel like they probably did, too. And, if they do want to continue this show, they'll just, like, have them on Earth again, and they'll get contacted by Majin Ku or someone to help them out. But yeah, the Super Saiyan 4 thing, or the continuity thing, like, there is no explanation right now, and that's just kind of the way it is, and we just got to deal with it. And because I sat on it, and at first I was a little disappointed there was no like attempt to connect them. But the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, listen, I just want to enjoy this show for what it was, and if they eventually want to write in something that connects it, great. If not, then it'll just be like Dragon Ball GT. But I have seen, yeah. This is basically a better version of Dragon Ball GT. Like GT did some cool things, but like this had a lot of the spirit of Dragon Ball GT, which was like an adventure anime with Goku achieving Super Saiyan 4, and I thought this was just a better version of that. Now I did read an article that said like Daima is like the true sequel to the Majin Buu saga, or like is a true sequel to the Majin Buu saga, like how the manga, like the true sequel to the manga version of the Buu saga. So it could just be like another timeline or something. I don't know, but in a vacuum, or just like if you just want to isolate it, Dragon Ball Z ending with the Buu saga and then Daima going into it, like I think it's a great sequel to that, and we'll figure out everything later. And if they want to come out and say like it's not canon or it's a separate timeline, great. But because I didn't want that to affect the way I thought about the final episode, because in a vacuum, like this ending is perfect for this show, and it really puts a nice cap on the adventure we had through 20 episodes. I think this ending is perfect for that. So I'm trying. I don't want to let it judge. I don't want that whole conversation about canon and whatnot to affect my enjoyment of this show, because I really did enjoy this show. And I think the ending is great. And I think these last few episodes were truly great. And whether or not it's canon doesn't really change that for me. I still think this show was some of the best Dragon Ball we've ever gotten. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. And then I'll let Toei, I'll let everybody else working on Dragon Ball and writing Dragon Ball to set the facts straight eventually if they want. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, will there be a sequel series or a movie? Maybe. I don't know. I hope there is. I want to see more. I really do. I've really grown to like this universe and these characters, especially the Ku and Du, the Majins. I think they're awesome. I would love to see more of them. Glorio, I wish he had more screen time or more to do, because I feel like he's got a ton of potential, but he just was not. He just became like a side character over the course of the show. Like he was
played him and Neva pretty similarly, where like there's some shit going on, but then by the end of it, it's like, well, not really though.
Yeah, I mean, they both had like their big moments in the last couple episodes. Like Neva activates Goku's transformation. Glorio wishes them all to be adults again. So they had their moments, and I thought like that Glorio moment was really good. I just wish he had more leading up to that to make that moment even better. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I really enjoyed the characters overall in this show. I would love to see them again in future projects, and we'll see what we get. So just like a retrospective on the show in general, like when you think back on Daima, on the 20 episodes we got, like what are you going to think about? Like what parts, or like anything specifically are you going to remember fondly, or just like a general thing?
I think that because of the state my brain is in recently, I've been thinking of things a lot in terms of Dungeons and Dragons, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But if we think of, Goku's whole story, right? And we have the whole Dragon Ball thing, that could be like one campaign, right? Mm-hmm. Then we have Dragon Ball Z, that's like another campaign, right? There's a couple different arcs in there that lead up to, like the Boo arc, the Cell arc, the Frieza arc, all that. This 20 episode run of Daima felt like a really fun, just like one shot to run after defeating Boo. Like let's just sit down and play for a little bit, because like you said, it's an adventure anime. Like they're not going to the demon realm and just like dusting everyone up, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're not just brawling all the time, and like the stakes aren't super high, like we said.
Yeah. We have bar fights. We have Goku eating these weird looking cheeseburgers. The bugs. We have going to a world of giants fighting giant hamsters.
Yeah, like it's sick. It's world building. It's all right. Here's some stuff that's going on now, but also there's a guy that you need to save. A little green baby, has antennas. Can't miss him. And in order to do that, there's these 3 guys you do have to fight. Yeah. And after you fight them, you do have to solve their problems. Well, not their problems, their puzzles. Yeah. It's not like, oh man, my wife's not calling me back, man. It's like Tommy 3, man. I don't know.
I just need someone to talk to. I've been drinking a lot.
But in my mind, I feel like I'm going to remember this more for the overall structure. Right, because with the let's take Boo kind of for example. Like the end game there was defeat Boo, because he's gonna do some shit. Defeat him. Yeah. This one isn't just like defeat Goma, because you're still kids and Dende is still a baby. So like the objective is save Dende, Sub-Bullet, get the Dragon Balls to fix our age thing.
Yeah, let's get back to
and then we deal with everything else after that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really liked that.
Yeah, I think that's really well put. And this game, I said game, this show
game.
felt like an RPG at points. Like the structure, as you said, like Dende gets kidnapped in the beginning. You go to the Demon World to find him. You have to fight these 3 bosses. You have to solve their puzzles afterwards. Very like RPG video game esque.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the big bad boss fight at the end. Yeah, that's good. I now that you said that, it does feel like a D&D campaign, especially after having played in one recently with you. It does feel that way.
Yeah, I think we're just in that mode.
Yeah,
because I mean, RPGs are just stories, right? So like you could just slap that mindset onto a ton of stories and be like, everything's D&D.
And then the hamster episode is a side quest.
I completely forgot about that. That was maybe one of the most fillery episodes, but like, doesn't mean it was bad.
I still think that was a good episode. I mean, did it add anything to the story? No. Did it? It really didn't add anything to the story. It just you know that like those giants exist. I don't know if they're ever going to come back into the fold at a later date, maybe, but it was animated beautifully. I mean, it was just like another artistically sound episode. But Anna had a really cool Kamehameha too. Anna had a giant dog with a giant anus that was drawn to scale. Anyway, moving on. So same question. I'll answer the same question. So when I look back at Daima, I'm going to think about how this is just like a celebration of Dragon Ball in general, and like what we said at the beginning of the episode, like how this was Toriyama's like final gift to Dragon Ball fans, and we got a lot of fan service in this series, and we got a lot of cool shit, and there was like a little bit of everything for every type of Dragon Ball fan. Whether you're like the OG Dragon Ball fan, you love the high stakes dynamic action of Dragon Ball Z, you like Super Saiyan 4 and GT, or the adventure aspect. We got a little bit of everything, and
except for Gohan.
That
it blew my mind when you told me that.
It is crazy that we don't see him at all in this show. He actually has like he actually has a design. Like you can see him in the intro, like the intro song and the intro credits. Like he's there, but you just don't see him in the show at all. Besides the first episode where it's a reanimated telling of the Buu saga. It's crazy that he's just not in the show at all. I thought we were going to get him at least in like those ending credit stills, like him and Videl. Like
we got Chi-Chi.
Dude, that was so good. I love the Chi-Chi one because she's like doing dishes as a kid on the step stool, and then she like becomes an adult again, and she's like, what? she's still on the stool. Yeah, there were some good stills there. Anyway, we got some really cool shit in this show, and that's really what I'm going to think of is just like how it like delivered on every front as a Dragon Ball fan. Like anything, every aspect of the show, like the universe that you've liked. If you like OG Dragon Ball and whatnot, like you had everything, and then you had like the big fan servicey moments, like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, which was just awesome, and I love Vegeta, and it was just so cool to finally like see him get Super Saiyan 3, and you had both the kid version and the adult version. I mean, so badass, so sick that we actually got that. Can't believe it, and then we got Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Kid and adult.
Crazy, right?
Kid and adult. And we had, I mean, go ahead.
I liked Kid Goku Super Saiyan 4 better than adult Goku Super Saiyan 4.
Okay. I think that's fair. I mean, he was dope as a kid. He used a lot more of like, he was more like monkey-like. Like he used
that's exactly why.
Yeah. He used his tail more. He was like on all fours at one point.
Yeah, I love that they played more of the ape parts. You said, he used his tail to hang on to Goma's leg and kind of twist around it. He also ran on all fours, like you said. And it reminded me so much of that fan-made video. Whose name is escaping me.
The one with Broly, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with Broly, with the World Tournament.
Legend, a Dragon Ball tale.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. But that one was like super monkey-esque.
It was, yeah. I actually wish they did more of that with adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think they do a little bit, like he's kind of climbing on Goma a little bit in that fight a bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell because it's happening so quickly.
I also saw that, like, I think they were both flying and Goma hit him down to the ground. And instead of just like going down the ground, he like spun in a little back somersault.
Yeah.
Which also reminded me of Legend, a Dragon Hero. So what's it called? God damn. Legend, a Dragon Ball Tale.
Yeah. I might rewatch that after this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I'm going to think of just all the cool moments, and then I think the one moment that's really going to stick out for me is just the Goku transformation sequence in episode 19, like that. That shit was the most hyped I've gotten for an anime in a long time. Like, that was fucking awesome.
Oh, especially
and it was such
after
a cool
the callback speech.
Like, yep, the callback, and then just like I've never seen like Goku look so well drawn before. Like, everything looked so gorgeous, the shading and everything looked
crispy,
incredible. So yeah, I'm just gonna think of all the cool shit that we got in Daima and how it basically scratched every itch for every Dragon Ball fan. And I appreciate it for that. I do appreciate it for that. Yeah. So
I'm glad the power pole came back too.
The power pole came back. Yeah, we got the power pole. He used it. It really got its time to shine in the Tamagami fight, the first one, the Tamagami 3 in episode 8. He used it a lot, and then after that, it kind of didn't really... It got used a couple more times, but that was really the time for it to shine.
And it was sick.
In that episode, and it was really cool.
He's still really good with it. Even
I know.
Though it's been sitting there for years.
It's been hanging Roshi's laundry. And then we see adult Goku with it at the end. That was really cool just to see that. And yeah.
Did we see what happened to Roshi in the credits?
Well, you see he's just looking at himself in the mirror and he's old again and he's like, he has that shocked look on his face. So we almost got what you were looking for.
Yeah. My thought was that he was going to be young Roshi and hitting on a girl. And it's working, and as it's working, he turns old again.
I think that would have been hilarious. Yeah, yeah, and that would have been very Toriyama too. Like I thought that would have been great. Oh, I guess we can't finish this episode without mentioning possibly the funniest joke in all of Dragon Ball, which was
God.
I think I'll remember the transformation sequence with Goku, but I'm also going to remember this particular joke because it was so well executed and fucking hilarious. It's the scene where Bulma has to talk Vegeta away from fighting Goma so Goku can step in.
Yeah, Goma and Vegeta are fighting, and this is just after Goma knocks Vegeta back to base form from Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah.
And Vegeta's still trying to, go toe-to-toe with Goma. And everyone else on the sidelines is like, I mean, maybe we gotta get in on this. And like Arinsu and Ku are looking stuff up in the book or whatever. And they're like, oh, he's never gonna fucking listen to us. Like, of course he's gonna want to fight. And then Bulma steps up, yeah?
Yeah. She steps up. She's like, if you don't get your head out of your butt, if you don't stop fighting, I will never take a bath with you again. And then it just like from here on out, like the direction of the scene
back down.
But the direction of the scene is perfect because like it zooms in on Vegeta's face, it like turns blue, it like makes it really dramatic, and Vegeta's like seeing his whole life flash before his eyes. He's like, no, like he's like, not my bath time with Bulma. And then the speed up of him flying back was just so funny.
It's
so good. I laughed out loud watching that. It was perfect.
I took notes that will not see the light of day.
That leads me. I also do want to mention, like, I thought Vegeta had really good characterization in this series. I mean, I know he didn't really get much to do until like the Tamagami 2 fight where he goes Super Saiyan 3 for the first time, but I thought this was like definitely like a true continuation of his character arc in Z at the end of Z, where he's like still kind of like, Kakarot, how could you surpass me again? Still like kind of rough around the edges, but he does have like, he's definitely like starting to like have more feelings and like be more of a actual like good person. And yeah, I thought that scene was really good. Like he loves Bulma, he'll do anything for Bulma. And then the scene, like, and then that kind of just like the thing at the end where like he's letting Pansy wave his arm to to the crowd when they're all leaving. I just thought he had really good characterization in this show, so I was happy with the way they continued him, and he still had like all of his cool like his cool stances where he's like arms crossed, he's like sitting on the cart at the end, like with his legs crossed, how he usually like that's a classic Vegeta stance.
Just being seething.
Yeah, exactly.
In a corner somewhere.
I just don't know why Piccolo is in this show. I feel bad because like Piccolo is great and he just didn't get much to do. He was just there just to be there, really. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, he didn't pop the eye out.
No, he didn't pop the eye out.
He messed it up for himself. Like
he contributed a special beam cannon to that when they all did their beam blasts to Goma. That was cool. But other than that, he didn't do shit. He didn't
even fight a Tamagami.
He didn't fight a Tamagami. He fought like the soldiers. Guy. He fought like the Demon Realm soldiers.
Oh, and the giant, right? Didn't he do something?
He helped fight the giant a little bit. He just didn't have to be in this show. I don't know, but when he did turn back into adult, he had his cape and his cap and his armor back on. Like he was aura farming a little bit. He still looks fucking badass. I love that guy.
Yeah,
I just wish he had. Cool. I wish he had a moment. Yeah, I'm also really excited for the English dub to catch up because I will rewatch this show with the English dub.
Especially how often are they coming out?
It's every week now. And they're all they just finished episode 8, which was the Tamagami 3 fight. I did rewatch that before this episode, and just hearing Stephanie do the old Kid Goku voice has just filled me with nostalgia. It's really cool. All right, all the other voices sound good too.
Watch the dub then.
The kid voices sound good too. Like Kid Vegeta sounds good. Yeah, Dragon Ball dub's always been great in my opinion. And I just cannot wait for these last few episodes to be adapted because I just know that Sean Shammel's gonna destroy that transformation sequence where Goku goes Super Saiyan 4. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. But yeah, any final thoughts on Dragon Ball Daima?
I am struggling what to rate this out of 10.
That's fair.
For a while, it was floating between 8 and 9 for me. Mm-hmm. It leans a lot towards 9 because of the nostalgia factor, I think. But just because of that one line in the ending where he's like, "Oh, well, I trained after Boo. I didn't know if I could do it though." That's the only misstep I think they had in that last episode, and that kind of brought the shine off the apple a little bit.
Okay,
if I could give it an 8.5, I would, and I think I'm going to have to settle for an 8 here, which is it hurts, man.
Yeah, but 8's still really good. 8's still really good with how like the series didn't really like a lot of people were writing the series off before it even started because like they were doing the whole kid thing again and it felt like GT reimagined and people were already writing it off, but it really blew my expectations away. I was so pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised with this show and how consistent and good it was. There were a few episodes. There was like maybe the 3 episodes after the Tamagami 2 fight with Vegeta where it kind of just like dragged, that had the hamster episode in it that had like them just crashing the plane again. And then like the whole first fight when they first get to the first demon world. I don't know. That just all felt like kind of like fake stakes. Like I really couldn't be convinced that like Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo really were in danger against like an army shooting lasers and tanks. Like, I know, like, they were trying to have fun with it a little bit, but, like, at the end of the episode when Goku goes Super Saiyan just absolutely wipes the floor with all of them, I'm like, well, I didn't just do that from the beginning. What are we doing here? So with that in mind, like, I'm probably going to give this show, I'll give it like an 8.5 out of 10. I'll do a 8.5.
Nice. We're level on where we would rate it.
Some pacing issues earlier on, and then there's like 3 episodes where it was like kind of like a lull. But man, did this show finish on a strong note. And in the beginning, it really had me hooked in the beginning as well. So overall, the show had a lot of quality episodes, incredible animation, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun. So 8.5 out of 10, I think that's good. I would love for somebody to cut this into a movie, because I really think this is just an elongated movie, a stretched out 20 episode movie. If they can just trim some of the fat, it could be really good. It really could be. So yeah, Dragon Ball Daima. I'm sad it's over. But we move on to the next Dragon Ball project.
Because it happened.
Yeah, smile because it happened, and then I can't wait to play these characters in Sparking Zero.
Dude, I still cannot believe when you told me Gohan's not in it. It again blew my mind, dude. Because he's the great Saiyaman, defender of truth, protector of the innocent, upholder of justice, doer of good. And if you want to do good, you could give us a follow on Instagram, or you could subscribe here on YouTube to 5 O'Clock Sweats. We also are available in audio form on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Anything else?
That was good. That was impressive. I like that. That's all I got.
And, as always,
stay sweaty.
I was going to look up specifically this is Super Saiyan, this is Super Saiyan 2, but specifically for Goma. But no one's transcribed it yet on the internet. So I was like, oh, I could pull it up and see if I could watch it while he's giving his explanation. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Damn.
Because I thought it'd be cool to do that here. And then we could end it with one more bonus. So now I'm just going to stop shaving my upper lip too and let it go. Basically, I'm going to be the most unkempt member of this podcast.
Until when? Is there a time where you'll shave it, or just until
I'll reevaluate it when my hair is reevaluated?
Okay, that's fair.
Because I feel like if you see the face part of it, you're like, really? But then you see that I'm also doing the head part of it, and it's like, okay, I guess he's trying a thing.